obviously I can't go live on that account, can I?
No, you can't.
Because I licked a sausage on live, and they said it was sexual violence. So
Of course it is.
yeah. The poor sausage.
Oh my god.
So yeah, no. Sorry, I don't know if you were halfway through a story about chicken, but I've just made a bolognese and then I've eaten it far too quickly, and then I just feel really sick now. I'm trying to breathe and I'm full of bolognese. So basically, all I wanted to say, Maggie, and we don't have to talk about it privately because it's nothing big. But of course, we can talk. My main worry is that there have been a lot of people that have come in, not just to this live, but other lives, and have gone on to borderline. I don't want to use the phrase bully because it's the word that she uses, but
harass.
Sometimes things are said and they shouldn't be being said because it takes away from the message that you're trying to spread. Mm-hmm. And I have had a lot of messages that said, we really liked Maggie when she started out, and we really appreciate her doing the lives because it really does make awareness of it. But we do sometimes think that she crossed the line with things like jabber and things like that. And I just think
I've never called her jabber.
That you did actually in the other live.
Oh no, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. But the problem is when you do things like that, and I've crossed that line sometimes as well. I have to be very careful, It does draw away from
what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. And then that gives her the ammunition to come to you and say, well, she's just a bully, or she's hosting a live where there are bullies in there.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to just say that to you because I think what you're saying is really important. But we need to be careful not to cross that line because there's some information like the charity thing.
Yeah.
My big thing with the charity was that it was a charity that was promoting gambling. Mm-hmm. But I do believe in the end, possibly because of the amount of pressure she was under, but that doesn't matter. In the end, she did donate that money. And so it's not actually a scam as such because of that. Mm-hmm. And so if people say that around the app, then we're giving out misinformation when we should be focusing on the horrible person that she actually is and her behaviour.
You can carry on talking.
Hello.
No, I totally agree. I do slip up. And I have tried to be so diplomatic, and calling her names is genuinely not the right way to go. And I know that. And I know that I've said things that I shouldn't have done, and I am sorry. I did shut someone down today for calling her fatty because I wasn't okay with that.
I do think that weight is an interesting thing because I suffer with it as well. I have always found eating to be quite comforting, and so that's always been a big challenge of mine. I do think that there are things that she could do to manage weight, including the type of food that she eats. And even there are many people with ME that are able to exercise, even if it's small amounts. So, I do think that that's something that could potentially be helped. And I do think that you could look after your appearance more, but that doesn't mean that I want to comment on her facial features or, what she might be going through with ingrowing hair, because I don't know it. And I think that it just lowers your live to pick on those types of things.
Yeah. I totally agree. I need to shut people down when it's happening. We can only say things about what she's said, and we can say that what she said is awful, but let's try and separate what she said from what she looks like. I totally agree.
What really annoys me and what really gets to me is, you may have seen, I posted a video today on my story, which was the original video that I made about this. It was a year ago that she said it. And still to this day, she is insistent that she's done nothing wrong. And that's the issue. She still repeats it. She still has the article linked on there. she doesn't understand that just by saying and comparing illnesses, you are hurting people.
Yeah.
If she had just come on and said, look, I'm sorry, I understand comparing illnesses isn't really the right thing to do. I misunderstood, and I was just trying to get a point across that I did poorly, and I'm very sorry for that, and I won't do it again. Then I can understand people forgiving her and moving on from it. But when you're doubling down all the time and insisting that you're correct, it's never going to get better for her. And I'm so grateful that there's people out there doing lives talking about her. I just want to make sure that it's done in the right way. And you seem like a sensible enough person to understand where I'm going with that.
Yeah, 100%. And I do feel awful. I have got angry and I have let my emotions get the better of me. And I shouldn't. If I'm going to do this properly, which I actually want to do, I need to be diplomatic about it. And I need to stick to the facts and keep it civil, really. Keep it as civil as possible. I totally agree with you. I have been.
And you know those videos I did where I dressed up.
Yes.
There were a number of people that disagreed with that. And things like falling on the floor, I can understand that, and I haven't repeated it since. But things like bird poo on my shoulder, this is the sort of stuff that she actually does, and is quite funny. So taking the mick out of that is normal. Like, it's this thing that other people do to other creators. It's normal. It's entertainment. The fact that she has a bird all the time, and I had a pet bird on my shoulder that pooed on me, that she dances in the chair sometimes because it's a bit funny. I thought that would be really funny, so I did it. And I don't think that's bullying.
I don't think that's bullying. I think if anything, it's a bit of banter. I mean, there's a guy on here that does full makeup and goes live as CLA.
Yeah,
who she happily accepts gifts from. I can't get my words out. Accepts gifts from. Dead Wings was in her live the other day, gifting her, and she was like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Well, why is she fine with that? Right?
She's got a GoFundMe fund. Did you see that?
She's got a what? Sorry,
CLA has a GoFundMe page.
I don't think, unless a creator comes on here and there's a genuine story about their life, I don't think they should be doing GoFundMes. If there's someone in your family and you're on to tell your story and you genuinely need support, that's a different thing. But when you're trying to set up GoFundMes for other people, I think that it gets a little bit too...
She
I don't want to use the word dodgy,
to pay her tax bill.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, apparently it's for like a meet and greet, but her management got in touch and said you can't charge people £5 for a meet and greet or something.
She's another one after fucking rocker.
Sorry.
Hi, Nicola.
I was just going to see if I could just speak to Cook and Cruise for a second.
Of course.
Going on what he said about bullying, things like that.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned, a perspective, obviously in my situation, is your body is just a vessel. It's what's inside.
Yeah.
So I agree that, it's far too easy to mock how somebody looks because you're angry and, you can say, oh, she's got facial hair, she's got this, she's got that. But in this case, it's what's inside. It's her words, it's her behaviours, and I haven't heard of her calling anybody a name based on how they look. But I mean, I haven't. Am I right in saying, is that how I'm trying to explain it? John, what you're saying is,
yeah, This is a difficult one because I think that she is not a very nice person. I've known her for 6-7 years. I used to go on cruises with her. We've been out for dinner, and I've seen the way that she's treated my partner and the staff that we've been with. So I've seen that off the app. And so therefore I know that she's not a very nice person. Now that could be that she's just not socially with it, that she can't handle certain situations, maybe. That for some reason her mentality is that she's like the main character in her life, and everyone else around her should do what she wants. I do get that feeling from her, but that doesn't mean that because she looks a certain way. I mean, look, if you're going to grow a beard for PCOS, people are going to take the mick out of you for that. You're actively doing something, and you're doing it for charity. That's great. I think that's a really good thing. But at the same time, people are going to take the mick out of it because you've chosen to do that. There are things you can do to stop that from happening if you choose to. And any person, for example, me right here now, people keep saying I've got Lego hair, right? Because I haven't cut it. It needs to be cut. So when people say I look like a Lego man, I agree with them because it's too long. So that is someone taking the mick out of how I look because I could do something about it. I think when you take the mick out of someone over something they can't deal with, that's something completely different. And a disability or an illness is particularly one of those things.
I think with her, though, I don't know whether any of you have ever heard this saying before, even bad publicity is good publicity. So even though we're speaking about her and what she said and the way she carries on, her name is still being there and it's in the forefront of everyone's mind, and so she's still getting the attention.
Look, the thing is, she's a very clever individual as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
And she knows that this is boosting her account.
Of
so
course.
She has gone after 3 creators in 7 days. She's deliberately posted lives, made videos about it. She knows that that's getting her many more followers and many more views.
Yeah.
The issue is that she then goes on to cry about it afterwards. If you're going to act like that, at least act like that and own it. Like someone like Evil Queen does.
Yeah.
But don't come on and then say you're being bullied and harassed. It's ridiculous. Those are the only 2 words in her vocabulary.
No, she's very cunning. She's very cunning. She really is.
I don't know if you heard my situation, Cook and Cruise, but I was saying I'd gone on a live the day before yesterday, and I just was wanting to have a conversation with her to put a different perspective on it, and I was saying that I had terminal cancer, and I typed out something else to say about pain can't be compared, every individual is different, and before I could send it, she blocked me. And it was as if she didn't want somebody to give her the spin on it. It was her opinion, and that was that.
Well, that's what she did to Maggie, though, Nicola. If you remember, Maggie went...
I don't know. See, I've only just come on.
She came into Maggie's live to talk to her, but she couldn't control the narrative. She couldn't control the comments. And so she had to invite Maggie into her live, where all the comments are super positive and are super up her own...
against Maggie.
They're all against Maggie. And anyone who says anything different is immediately muted or blocked. Yeah. And that's what it's like, Nicola. And that's where I think the manipulation comes in. Because if you're pretending to be a certain person on here and you're blocking every single comment or removing everything that's negative, then people are only seeing one side of it and they're not seeing the true person. And so I've always been careful about telling the people in my life that I'm not going to block them or mute them unless they genuinely are there just to troll. If they're coming in and repeating the same nonsense constantly and not listening to the conversation, then fine, you get blocked, But if you want to come in and give your side of the opinion, I'm not going to block you or remove you for that. Yeah. And I think that's what she's missing.
I wasn't being nasty.
No, but technically you were taken from the attention on her, you see.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You were, because you're in the situation, God love you, that you're in, that would mean that people were going to listen to you and not to her. So that was taking the attention from her, and that's what she can't stand.
Yeah.
And
I do appreciate, I don't think she's well, but as far as what I've seen in a lot of people that I've met, especially last night, was when she kept breathing it was because she said that many things, she can't remember what she said's a lie and what she said is true.
Yeah.
And it's as if when she's saying, I've just got to try and think of this one. And then she's like, I just need to breathe, I'm struggling, and it's like, you can see her attitude change. And it's like she's trying to
Think back on what she said previous.
Not that she's not breathing. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's always an excuse for everything from her. It's this health condition that caused her to do that. Or, she wasn't thinking clearly because she was being bullied, so that's why she made the cancer comment. Take some responsibility for what you've done and what you've said. Not everything is because of an illness. It's actually your personality, We all make mistakes and we all say the wrong thing. But just own up to it. And this wouldn't even be alive. This wouldn't even be a conversation if she had done that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but in some of my work, I work with people with these types of things. I have to be very careful about what I say because my workplace has been contacted in the past.
No, really?
Yeah, really. But basically, I know a lot of people who go through different illnesses, cancers, and they all have such a high level of, is humility the word? Humility is the wrong word. Humility is the word I'm looking for. They have this sort of level of respect for themselves and for other people, and they will not constantly blame their life on their illness. They will accept that there's an issue, and of course they need support and help, but not everything in their life is about that, because they don't want it to be about that. They don't want it to always be about their illness. They want to live a normal life and be treated equally.
I'm going to just mute now because my boy's home. I'll speak a bit, but Cook and Cruise, do you have a lot of experience on cruise? Obviously, you cruise a lot.
I've been cruising since 2017 and I've done 15 cruises, but I'm not an expert in them, but I've definitely done quite a few of them.
Well,
sorry to take over the complete live and ask a different question.
Fine.
But obviously, in my situation, I don't think I'd ever get insurance to go on a cruise. But I think if I was ever going to go anywhere, which I don't think I could, a cruise would be ideal because I wouldn't leave the ship. But my husband and children could do. But I've always been told the insurance would be more than the holiday.
There definitely are people that pay a hell of a lot of insurance for their insurance. I've seen quotes of thousands of pounds for that kind of level of insurance. The best thing I can say is that if you do a few different prices and then you can get an idea on whether it's going to be viable for you. The honest truth is, people in your situation and people with quite severe health conditions do sometimes struggle on cruises. And it's very expensive for medical treatment to be given. So they do have high costs associated with it. But the best thing you can do is just like you would with car insurance, is go and get the quotes and see if it's viable for you.
So I wouldn't even know where to start, but thank you.
I don't want to give specific names, but if you Google cruise insurance, cruise health insurance, there are a number of companies that specialize in it. And I'm sure you'll be, but you can message me directly if you have any questions. Just drop me a message.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So Maggie, I just wanted to come in and say that, like, I think that all the hard work you're putting in to build a community, I think it deserves for me to be honest with you and tell you that, and that's why I did it. Otherwise, I do genuinely think you're doing something good. So do keep it up and just keep an eye on that part of it. I'm not your dad. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just saying that, in order to get your message out there, that's just my opinion on it.
No, do you know what? I totally agree. I need to stop being a dickhead. I need to watch what I say. Obviously, my emotions do get the better of me sometimes, but I've got a Discord now. My emotions can be focused in there rather than in front of the people that I have in here. That's not fair. And I I genuinely think underneath all the so-called fame, the TikTok fame, she might be a genuine person. She started off so lovely. She started off raising awareness for stuff, and she was a really good watch, and, you know, she owned it. Yeah, she was getting some crap, but at that time, she actually owned it, and she was doing really well with it. And then I think as she noticed that people felt sorry for her and she was getting gifts, I think, this is just my opinion, she may have started to play on it a little bit.
Well, this has given her the platform to have an even bigger head and to be even more of a narcissist than even if she only had a small part of that trait in herself before. She now has thousands of people who she can do it to, and I think that's quite dangerous. You know, it's a dangerous platform for that, because there's so many vulnerable people on TikTok that are lonely.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think she needs to be very careful with what she does. I don't hate her from the point of view that I do believe she came on here initially to do some good.
Yes.
However, her as a person, there's a lot of traits there that need to be sorted out. And that's, if she's not willing to look at it and work on herself, then how can you say she's a good person? You know, she has to first of all look at herself and solve those problems. Then potentially there's a good person there. But, you know, that's just my viewpoint on it. Maggie, I'm going to drop now because I've got some other things I want to do this evening, but thank you for having me in.
No,
thank you for listening.
No worries. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in and whipping me into shape. I appreciate it.
And I'll see you later. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, hon.
Bye-bye.
Maggie, you don't have to be whipped into shake. Shake? Fucking hell. Put your teeth back in.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.